All right. Well, thank you all so much for joining us this evening. My name is Georgia Kicklighter. I am the Director of Business Development here at Destination America. And it is my great pleasure to welcome you all to our webinar this evening, or this morning, I should say, titled Dramatic Arizona Going Beyond the Grand Canyon. And it's my very great pleasure to introduce you to one of our travel experience department managers. What we at Destination America do is put a lot of effort and time to find some of the most exciting and new experiences all across the United States and Canada so that we can ensure your customers have the opportunity to not just see the United States and Canada, but to really experience it in a new and a different way, giving you the competitive advantage and giving your customers memories that will really last a lifetime. So with that, I want to thank you all for calling in. Should you be interested in anything that you see on the webinar this evening, all of the experiences and hotels are something that we can offer you. Please do reach out to myself or to Joyce, who is also on the call today, and we'll be happy to put together some customized quotes for your customers to experience any of the tours or hotels or destinations that you learn about today. So with that, I will turn it over to Ananji, who will be speaking today on this fascinating topic. Ananji, thank you.
Thank you, Georgia. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time for this webinar. I've been with the company now for quite some time, traveling all around Arizona, and I'm excited to be able to share some of the expertise on the region. Arizona is known, of course, as the Grand Canyon State, but there's so much more to this beautiful place. Unique landscapes, natural grandeur, parks, monuments, rivers, lakes, various indigenous cultures, and of course, vibrant cities. It is located right in the Four Corners area. And you can see here a map, and you have Phoenix right at the center of the map. It is the capital, and we also have so much more here. It is, again, in the Four Corners area, so it borders New Mexico, Colorado, Utah, as well as down south Mexico and a section of California. It contains 3 national parks, 8 national monuments, 6 national forests, 30 state parks, and over 21 indigenous tribes, because these are only the ones that are recognized. So today I'd like to cover some of these places that may not be as well known to you, not just the Grand Canyon. So I'll point out some of the locations as we go along, and I'll make sure to excite you with some of these programs we have. Most groups, when they travel to Arizona, they start off or end in Phoenix or Scottsdale, which is the suburban area of Phoenix. It has a fantastic airport with over 1,000 daily flights. It also offers fantastic resorts, hotels, museums, restaurants, and many opportunities for outdoors activities in the high desert. It is known as the Sonoran Desert, stretching all the way from Mexico into Arizona, and it is a very unique environment and ecosystem. It contains higher precipitation than most other deserts in the world, even during the summer. So you do get that monsoon season, which makes it the perfect outdoor destination to see all the different types of fauna and flora. On this hot air balloon ride here that you're seeing on the screen, it is one of the experiences we can offer. It is just like a magic carpet ride for many guests. They enjoy the fact that there is no engine sound, that they're going with the wind, so you don't get wind blowing on your face. And there is literally no sensation of motion. So it's a very tranquil and exciting experience. Once you land, they serve you breakfast, of course, with some champagne and orange juice, as it is tradition. And so it's a fantastic experience that we offer on our trips. Another great destination, geological wonder, right between Phoenix and the Grand Canyon is the town of Sedona. This small town has a lot of character and, of course, a lot of geological beauty. It is located just next to the Coconino National Forest, and it's nestled really in a wonderland, as you can see here on this photo. Guests have the opportunity to experience both Native American cultures as well as the American pioneers and the cowboys. And the red, white colored mesas and buttes touch the blue skies and offer this spiritual and adventurous destination known around the world as a backdrop. So many movies have been done there, old westerns on the silver screen. And Sedona today also offers plenty of art galleries and exciting dining opportunities. This is one of the hotels that we use there in Sedona. We can use various different hotels, but this property has a lot of character since it's a boutique hotel with very comfortable rooms with amazing views. Of course, it's done in the Pueblo style, so it's very fitting to the region, surrounded by beautiful juniper trees. And so the terrace and of course, the opportunity to enjoy a happy hour at sunset in that terrace, or perhaps to check out the beautiful stars. It really makes this hotel one of the best. On our way to the Grand Canyon, there is a hidden gem, which is the Oak Creek Canyon. Not many people have heard of this place, but it's a fantastic drive that takes you through some breathtaking series of switchbacks into this scenic, smaller cousin of the Grand Canyon. It's known for its colorful rocks. It is sedimentary rock, and it also offers a fantastic view of the creek that runs along with it. This canyon is one of our guests' favorite locations for a photo stop. And as you climb higher, you get to the Ponderosa pine forests in the Coconino National Forest. And of course, once you get closer to Flagstaff, you reach the famous Route 66 that everyone wants to take a photo of the sign. It's hard to talk about Arizona and not mention the Grand Canyon. It is the Grand Canyon State. That's the nickname of the state. And so we can offer you various different opportunities at the Grand Canyon, whether it's flying a helicopter or a fixed wing in the South Rim, perhaps taking the Grand Canyon Railway from Williams over to the South Rim. We can basically take you also to the North Rim, which is about 1,000 feet higher. Unfortunately, it does close during the winter. And we can also do the West Rim, which is where the Wallapai Reservation is located. And it's also where the Skywalk, the famous glass dome that you can walk above the canyon, is located. So we can do all of those things as well. And of course, it is very fitting that coming to Arizona, you would, of course, see one of the 7 wonders of the world. Now, just 2 hours from Lake Powell and about 3.5 hours from the Grand Canyon, you have one of my favorite places in Arizona, which is Monument Valley. We do have a tour with a Navajo guide, a local indigenous tribe there. They will take you on a 17-mile loop around the valley, showing you all of the amazing restricted backcountry stops. You get to see all the monuments, as we call them, these buttes and mesas that you see along, and I'm sure you recognize it from the movies. And they take you to various different points, like the East and West Mittens that you see here on the photo. Also John Ford's Point. John Ford, of course, has filmed many of his movies there. And the Totem Pole Viewpoint, Artist Point, and so many others. This area boasts some incredible hidden treasures, and our guests really enjoy meeting the indigenous tribe, and of course enjoying a barbecue cookout as entertainment, as well as going into a local residence, a hogan, to enjoy a rug weaving demonstration, which they're famous for. At Canyon de Chelly, also located in the Navajo Nation, guests get a really exciting tour by a 6x6. They've repurposed these Austrian military trucks to go where no 4x4 can go. I just had the opportunity to experience this, and it's really fantastic to be able to go into this canyon, which is really secluded. You can't really imagine the feeling of having this entire canyon to yourself in this little truck. Of course, it's open air, so you can take amazing photography as you're going along. And you also get to see some amazing prehistoric cliff dwellings that date over 1,000 years inside this canyon, as well as the petroglyphs that they left behind. So this Navajo-led tour is something that should be in everyone's bucket lists for the scenery as well as for the history that contains inside those canyon walls. So I was mentioning to you some of the ancient Pueblo cliff dwellings that we see at Canyon de Chelly. Of course, just Canyon de Chelly alone offers over 2,500 of these archaeological sites. These are really like castles that were built on rock by the ancestral Puebloan people. It is really fascinating that they were capable of coming up with agriculture without any contact with the Europeans, before the contact with Europeans. And it's also amazing that they were able to build these fantastic architectural castles right on the side of the walls. You get to experience this not just at Canyon de Chelly, but throughout Arizona in places like Montezuma Castle near Sedona that I mentioned earlier, as well as Tonto National Monument in the Superstition Mountains near Phoenix, or as well as the Walnut Canyon National Monument near Flagstaff, just to name a few. I'd like to show you here a video, a fantastic video over Lake Powell, taking guests over up to Tower Butte, where they can see the Glen Canyon Dam, they can see Lake Powell, they can also see, of course, the Navajo Nation from above. So this butte is over 5,000 feet above sea level. It is known as Tower Butte. Guests will take a private exclusive helicopter ride for their group up to the top where they will land. Once they land up there, they will be able to see just about the whole world from the top. You can walk right up to the edge, as you see here, get out of the helicopter and just enjoy the incredible scenery surrounding it. You do get to see the Navajo Mountain, which is sacred to the Navajo. You can see the views of Lake Powell, the Glen Canyon Dam, Antelope Canyon, and so much more. So that's Tower Butte there. You know, you can see this 360 degrees panoramic views from the top. And we're really excited to have that in our portfolio. Of course, we have Lake Powell. What a fantastic location. Again, you can see there as backdrop of Lake Powell, that's the Navajo Mountain I was mentioning earlier. It is located at the Glen Canyon National Recreational Area, which covers over 1.25 million acres of land between the Four Corners areas of Utah, Arizona, Colorado, and New Mexico. It also offers many opportunities for people to get on the water, maybe for a swim, maybe for a boat ride over to Antelope Canyon, perhaps doing some kayaking. We have plenty of different properties we use at this location, including one inside the national park there, just next to the lake. Guests also really enjoy our Antelope Canyon Sunset Cruise, where you can actually go through this fantastic passage that gets narrower and narrower as you continue to move forward. This cruise offers some fantastic views of the canyon walls, but also the night sky as the sun continues to set. Guests will also learn about the Glen Canyon Dam, which was at the time one of the largest in the country. So really exciting boat ride that we offer. We also offer the Antelope Canyon Slots Tour. This is a very intimate experience. Again, inside the indigenous land. We'll go on a journey with the Navajo guide again and really experience the fantastic walls that were shaped by water, wind, and the forces of nature that have sculpted these fantastic red rocks. You can see the light as it comes through these walls, and it's just a very unique experience that many guests want to partake on. Of course, the Colorado River, it's impossible to talk about Arizona without mentioning the mighty Colorado River. This is the Horseshoe Bend just outside of Page, where guests get to come right to the edge of the canyon to observe the Colorado River doing a U-turn here, a perfect U-shape turn. So we usually take guests here, of course, for a photo stop at sunset. As you can see here on this photo, is a fantastic time to do it. You get this amazing photo from above of the canyon. We also offer a Horseshoe Bend float trip where guests actually depart from Page, where they will start out by driving down this exclusive 2-mile-long tunnel built during the construction of the Glen Canyon Dam. So we get a special permit to use that tunnel, and we take a drive down there. Once we get down to the bottom, we actually have to put on hard hats because we'll be underneath the bridge that goes over that canyon. And we'll get on and meet our guide, who's very experienced, will tell us all of the amazing stories of the area, not just the petroglyphs and of course the people that used to live there, but also all the animals that still do live around that area. Plenty of birds can be seen. They'll talk about the fishes, and of course this is an amazing experience. We do make stops along the way to see the petroglyphs, and we end up ending at the historic crossing at Lee's Ferry, which is really one of the few places where cars can drive to the Colorado River in this section before the Grand Canyon, before the waters run to the Grand Canyon. Another amazing place that I'm sure not many people have heard about is the White Pocket at Vermillion Cliffs National Monument. It is the perfect option for just about anyone because it's not a very large area, but again, it offers some amazing scenery and opportunities to take some incredible photos. As you can see here, the shapes of the sandstone are incredible. It is an easy hike, but the only way to get to this place is really by getting on a 4x4 and going off-roading. So there is a little bit of an adventure to get to it, but it's totally worth the ride. So again, we also have a guided visit there. So the guide will expertly transport you through all the sandy and clay-like roads to get to this destination. Another national park, other than the Grand Canyon in Arizona, is the Petrified Forest National Park. There are plenty of different hiking opportunities that you can do, and you can see various different types of fauna and flora, as well as the petrified wood. This is just 4 hours from Phoenix, 2 hours from Flagstaff, and it covers part of the Navajo as well as the Apache land. And this is the only national park where the historic Route 66 runs through it. So guests really enjoy seeing all the different colors of around this desert, and of course the giant logs that have been petrified over millions of years. Here we have Saguaro National Park. These are the largest cacti in the world. Again, only found in the Sonoran Desert because of the high precipitation levels. It offers 165 miles of hiking trails. It is one of the most diverse ecosystems, desert ecosystems in the world. And guests really enjoy seeing this cacti, which takes 50 years just to grow an arm. So when you see all of these cacti with various arms, it tells us that they are hundreds of years old, and they grow quite tall, up to 50 meters at times. In Tucson, not far from the Saguaro National Park, we have this very historic, authentic experience at the Hacienda del Sol. Guests really enjoy the amazing views of the Santa Catalina mountain range. They get to see a historic resort hotel with incredible service, fantastic pool, and of course it is also in the National Register for Historic Places. Many famous people have stayed there on the grounds. Katharine Hepburn, perhaps being one of the most famous, as well as Spencer Tracy. So really great property. I'd like to thank everyone again for taking the time to seeing this presentation. This is a picture of leaving Monument Valley. This is, if you've watched Forrest Gump, you recognize this location. Guests also really enjoy this fantastic view of Monument Valley as we leave the area. And I hope you've enjoyed the presentation and that you'll come to visit Arizona soon.
Thank you so much, Ananji. If you have any questions about any of the things that you've seen today, feel free to put your questions in the chat, and we can get them answered. So while you are typing some questions, I actually have a couple questions for you, Ananji. You know, you showed that beautiful picture of the hot air balloons. Do those only go at certain times of the day?
Yes, that's a great question. Yes, we do them early in the morning because you want very little wind. If it gets too windy, it ends up getting canceled. So the early morning is the best time to fly. Also because you get to experience the sunrise over the desert, which is one of the most majestic things to do.
Very cool. Well, and so that kind of leads into my second question, which is, you know, I know Arizona, we talked about all of the amazing deserts and, you know, sandstone, beautiful colored rocks. Sometimes our guests from the Asia market prefer to come in the winter. It tends to be less expensive. Can you talk a little bit about the temperatures that we can expect in some of these regions, and you know what that's specifically like in our winter months, which would be, you know, January, February, March?
Sure. That's a tricky question because Arizona is so big, and there are just it sits in the Colorado Plateau, and so you have all these different levels of strata. So if you're talking about Phoenix, where it's only 1,000 feet in altitude, it's quite different to the Grand Canyon, where you're at 4,000 feet, and it's very different, let's say, to Monument Valley. But they should come prepared, knowing that sections of Arizona do get in Celsius gets into the 0 degrees. And you know, they do get some snow at times in these areas.
Wow.
But the winter is still a great time to visit Arizona. They will find a mild weather in places where they're in a lower altitude, like Phoenix and Scottsdale, which will be very pleasant. Lake Powell, they might, you know, get a little bit chilly nights. The desert does tend to get cold at night. But for the majority of their trip, I think it's still very enjoyable. Perhaps the most beautiful trip I've taken to Monument Valley was seeing all the snow on top of the buttes and mesas there. So that was something I'll cherish forever.
Wow, amazing. And I know you just came back after looking at some of the new experiences that we're going to be adding to our portfolio. What would you say was your favorite experience that you had when you were out a couple weeks ago?
It was Canyon de Chelly. So I actually had the opportunity to go to Canyon de Chelly. And the fact that you don't get all these groups there, you basically have the canyon to yourself. It's a very intimate experience. We turn off those military trucks for a moment, and you could just hear the wind blowing through that canyon. And it gives you just a perspective, on our own lives of time, how long that canyon took to be carved, the people that used to live there. It just puts everything into perspective. You take a deep breath, and you realize, wow, it's quite emotional. It's a great place to be.
It's amazing. And to get to Canyon de Chelly, where would our guests stay? What's kind of like the nearest city or hotel hub for them to, if they were interested in adding Canyon de Chelly to any of their itineraries?
Yeah, they could stay in Chinle. It's the nearest town, um, not far, 20 minutes ride. And just from Chinle, they can walk to some of the rim where they can start enjoying some of the amazing views of the canyon from above.
Oh,
So that,
wow.
that would probably be one of the best places to stay there. They can even walk to the visitor center there. So
Very cool.
Chinle would probably be the best location to stay. But of course, it's not too far from places like Monument Valley or Bluff. These are all you can easily drive in a day.
Wonderful. Well, it doesn't look like I've seen any additional questions pop up, but I really appreciate you sharing your insight on your trip and really helping us understand some of the awesome opportunities to see something new and different in Arizona, which I know is a tried and true destination for so many of our guests as well as our clients. But there obviously is just so much more to experience, and we have all kinds of ideas of ways we can make your itinerary stand out. So please do reach out to either myself or to Joyce to get a quote started. Or if you have any questions that you'd like Ananji or myself to answer about any of the things that you've seen today, please do send us an email. We'll be happy to answer it. So thank you again, everyone, for attending our webinar. We really, really appreciate it. We will be doing another webinar next month. And our topic will be discussing the city of Vancouver. So we're going from the deserts of Arizona to the city winterscapes of Vancouver, and hopefully you will be able to join us. Joyce will send out the information for that webinar in a couple of weeks. And if you have any suggestions of anything you'd like to see a webinar on or any topics you'd be interested in hearing more about, please let Joyce or myself know. And until next time, thank you all so much for your time, and we will see you next time. So thank you.
Thank you.